All right, Zatima fans. So we just found out that in the past, Paul and Valerie, who's Valerie? Basically, she's the realtor, who is linked up with Bryce, basically bringing different properties for sale to his and Zach's attention for Rise Ventures. It's like, hey, I know some property you two should invest in. Then you can flip it, make some profit. She was introduced, in season one. Also, the one that added Deja to the cast by recommending that she be the tenant in Zach's duplex. But basically, her and Paul used to be married, but they are divorced. And the question is, why did they split? Now, let's be real here. We don't know enough about either of their characters to come up with a solid conclusion. But given that Dr. Reed himself is the same therapist that Paul saw in the past, and as he explained to Fatima, Dr. Reed, that is, he was talking with Fatima in the first part of season 2. He used to be married, but got a divorce because of the fact that he was willing to put in the work, but his wife wasn't. And honestly, for as much crap as everybody's going to give me for this, I feel like that speaks volumes to Zach and Fatima's relationship, where yes, Zach is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but we see him putting in far more effort and work into trying to make the relationship with Fatima heal and move forward than Fatima is. Because it seems like every time either Zach messes up or Fatima is hurt, he's the one carrying the load until she feels like, oh, well, I forgive you. And that's not going to be good for any sort of long-term relationship that these two could even hope to have in the future. But given, Paul and how he acts and whatnot, I wouldn't be, and this is just me because I don't know the timeline of stuff. I wonder if his, PTSD and whatnot he had from serving overseas, I wonder if his temperament from, serving the country, what if that had a negative impact on his marriage leading to the divorce? And then after, the divorce and whatnot, he opted to get therapy to, get help. And that might explain why he and Val are still on good terms. They call each other honey. It's like, well, hey, the things you said and whatnot after you got back from, the armed forces and everything. It's just like, I couldn't be there with you through that, because maybe Val wasn't there for him during that time. And he got to therapy, but by then, she had already moved on. But they're still on good terms with each other. Keep in mind, this is all headcanon. This is all headcanon. I didn't write the script. I don't know how things played out. I'm just thinking it through. Also, it's pretty crazy because when you think about it, Paul is trying to get with Zach's ex-fiance. And then in season 1, Valerie was kind of flirting with Zach. And I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. It's like, oh, we trading partners. And then you got Bryce, who's a swinger. You see where I'm going with this here? I'm not saying that Paul and Zach would do anything, but I think it's interesting how these two have almost unintentionally switched dance partners, so to speak. But I think that when it comes to, Paul and based off his temperament with Fatima, I think that perhaps it was a situation where, maybe Val cheated on him. I don't know. Or maybe she just got too involved with her work. And as a result, she wasn't really present in the relationship. And then they got a divorce because of that. Like I said, I'm just trying to, make educated guesses based off the little evidence we have of both of these individuals. I mean, given how he approaches Fatima and whatnot and patient with her, it stands to reason that maybe he was patient with Val, but she never came around. Or perhaps, as a flip to their marriage, she tried to be patient with him after his changed temperament from overseas, but because he wasn't, changing at the pace that she would have liked, or he wasn't changing at all, that's why she left him. And then he eventually got therapy and learned how to fix himself. So, like I said, these two no longer married. What do you think is going to happen from that in terms of how to think things might play out in the future? It's interesting because he works at a construction company, or he owns a construction company, and she does realtor work. So they, professionally, that's a good combo. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.